Let me tell you something real quick. You ain't stuck because you're not capable. You stuck cause you're scared, and fear, that's the devil's favorite tool. It'll keep you exactly where you are, if you let it. But I came here to remind you, your future, it's calling you louder than your fear ever could, but you gotta pick up. You gotta stop making fear your roommate and start making faith your business partner. Let's talk about it. Listen, everybody feel fear, that's human, but if you live in fear, that's a choice, and every time you choose fear, you cancel your future. Stop doing that to yourself. You worried about what might go wrong, but let me ask you this, what if it goes right? What if the thing you scared of is actually the door to everything you've been praying for? Don't you know fear is just imagination working against you? Same mind that can picture failure can picture success. You choose which movie to play. You keep looking at where you came from, but where you came from ain't where you're going. God is in the business of transformation, not repetition. You scared of being judged, of failing, baby, let me break it to you. Folks judging you anyway, so why not fail forward into your future? Let me tell you something personal. I didn't grow up with much. I've been broke. I've been told no more times than I can count. But I stopped listening to fear. I started listening to purpose. Sometimes the only thing standing between you and the next level is one bold move, one uncomfortable step, one leap of faith. Your future ain't waiting forever, and fear don't get tired, it'll talk you out. Everything if you let it. So today, make a decision, move anyway, even if you're scared, just move. You got everything you need, God gave it to you already, but it's locked behind that fear. You break that lock, you step into who you were born to be. So stop feeding your fears and start feeding your future. The clock is ticking. Let's go get what's ours. God didn't bring you this far to leave you scared. If he planted a dream in you, he's already made a way. Just walk it. There's a purpose behind every battle you've survived. Every time you felt like giving up but didn't. Every door that shut in your face. You didn't come this far by accident. You didn't survive all that pain, all that waiting, all that growth, just to freeze now in fear. If God planted a dream in you, it wasn't to tease you. It was to lead you. He didn't give you vision without provision. He didn't whisper purpose into your heart only to abandon you halfway. If you're still breathing, there's still more for you to become. But fear will rob you of what's already yours if you let it. See, fear isn't a stop sign, it's a test. It shows up right before the breakthrough, right before the blessing. Because right when you're about to cross over into something greater, that's when the enemy gets loud. That's when self-doubt creeps in. That's when your past starts trying to convince you that you're not worthy of your future. But listen, if the dream is in you, so is the strength to carry it. If the calling is real, then the path is already made. You just haven't walked it yet. You don't need to see the whole way. You just need to take the next step in faith. God never said the journey would be easy, but he promised you wouldn't walk it alone. And that's the difference between walking in fear and walking in faith. Fear needs a guarantee. Faith just needs a whisper. Fear wants to see the full map. Faith moves even with a foggy road. And if you truly believe that the dream inside you came from a higher power, then it's time you start acting like it. Start showing up like it. Start preparing like it. You don't wait for confidence. You build it by walking. You think the dream would be in your spirit if it wasn't yours to manifest. God doesn't waste breath. He doesn't put a vision in you unless he plans to fulfill it through you, but he won't drag you to it. He gave you the dream. Now he's waiting on your yes, your action, your belief. So the real question is, are you going to trust the fear you feel or the God who's been faithful every step? You don't need all the answers right now. You just need a decision. You just need to stop replaying the what-ifs and start walking with the why. Your future is already calling you. It's just waiting for you to get out of your own way. So stop shrinking, stop doubting, and start moving. God didn't bring you this far to leave you scared. If he gave you the dream, he gave you the power. Now go walk it. Fear, that's your imagination working against you. Flip that script. Use it to dream big, not to shrink small. Fear is powerful, not because it's real, but because we treat it like it is. It starts in the mind, in the quiet corners where uncertainty lies. It shows up dressed like protection, when all it's really doing is shrinking your potential. You think it's keeping you safe, but really, it's keeping you stuck. You see, fear uses your imagination against you. It makes you rehearse failure before anything's even happened. It makes you visualize the worst case scenario over and over until you start believing that's all there is. But here's the truth. If you're capable of imagining every way things could fall apart, you're just as capable of imagining how they could fall into place. That same energy you use to doubt yourself, to overthink, to play small, you can flip it. Turn it into belief, into boldness, into vision. Because the mind doesn't care what story you tell, it will believe whatever you repeat. So why not repeat something powerful? Fear is just imagination in reverse. It's a misuse of the gift God gave you to create. You weren't given a mind so sharp just to tear yourself down. You were given that gift to build something, to dream something, to bring something into this world that only you can. But that doesn't happen if you let fear hold the pen. You have to take the script back, rewrite it, speak something bigger over yourself. You ever notice how fear always speaks in extremes? You'll never make it. Everyone will judge you. It's too late. That's not truth. That's noise. That's fear trying to drown out your calling. But if you really listen deeper underneath all that noise, there's a quiet voice reminding you who you really are. That voice doesn't shout. It whispers. And it says, you've got more in you. This isn't the end. Keep going. You just have to decide which voice you're going to amplify. The people who succeed in life don't do it because they never feel fear. They do it because they've trained themselves to use it, to channel it, to turn it into focus. When fear shows up, they don't freeze. They flip it. They make it fuel. They let it remind them what's at stake if they don't try. They let it sharpen them, not stop them. So ask yourself, are you using your imagination to build your dream or to bury it? You can't have faith and fear holding the wheel at the same time. One's got to take the back seat. Choose the story that expands you. Choose the path that stretches you. Fear will always knock, but you don't have to let it in. Not today, not anymore. Flip the script, dream big, speak life, step bold. You were never meant to shrink. You were meant to soar. Everybody's scared, but champions show up anyway. They focus on the prize, not the problems. Fear is not what separates the average from the extraordinary. It's how they respond to it. Every person, no matter how strong, successful, or confident they seem, feels fear. The difference is what they do with it. Champions don't wait for fear to disappear. They move in spite of it. They understand that fear is part of the process, not a signal to stop. It's just a feeling, not a fact, and it doesn't get the final say. See, the reason champions rise while others freeze is simple. They focus on the prize, not the problems. They keep their eyes locked on the reason they started. On the dream, on the outcome, the problems will always be there: setbacks, doubts, criticism, delays. But champions know that if they give too much attention to every obstacle, they'll never make it to the destination. They don't deny the problems, they just don't feed them. They feed the vision instead. Fear magnifies the barriers. It puts a spotlight on everything that could go wrong. But champions choose to magnify their faith, their mission, their reason. They build mental muscle by repeating their why louder than their worry. Where most people hesitate, they move, not because it's easy, but because what they want is worth it. There's a discipline in showing up, especially on the days when you don't feel ready. Especially when it's dark, when the results are slow, when nobody's clapping for you. That's when it counts the most. That's when the champions are made, not in comfort, but in consistency. They don't let fear make decisions for them. They've trained their minds to ask, what's the reward, not what could go wrong. They know problems are just part of the journey, not the end of it. Champions know that showing up scared is still showing up. That imperfect action beats perfect hesitation. They know growth doesn't happen in the safe zone. It happens in the stretch zone, and they are willing to be stretched because they understand something the average person forgets. Every problem is a stepping stone, not a stop sign. You don't have to feel brave to be brave, you just have to act. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just the next step. Champions don't wait for certainty. They create it with action. They show up. They speak up. They rise up. And that's what separates them. So if you're scared, good. That means you're human. But don't let that fear become your excuse. Let it become your fire. Focus on the finish line, not the hurdles. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more people who show up, shaky but committed. Everybody's scared, but only the champions decide to keep moving anyway. You want to level up, then you gotta stop looking down. Stop looking at your worries and start looking at your calling. Too many people are living their lives with their heads down, buried in doubt, fear, and overthinking. Every step they take is weighed down by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. They focus on everything that could go wrong, everyone that's against them, every reason why they're not ready. And in doing so, they miss the bigger picture. They miss the opportunity, the momentum, the open doors. You can't level up when your focus is constantly on your fears. You level up when you shift your eyes toward your purpose. Worry is a distraction. It doesn't solve problems. It just drains your energy. It keeps your mind looping in the same place while your future waits on the other side of action. And let's be real, most of the things you worry about never even happen, but still, you let them take up space in your mind rent-free. You let them delay your progress. You let them convince you that playing small is safer. But you weren't born to play small. You weren't created to be average. There's something in you that's meant to rise. Your calling doesn't speak in fear. It speaks in whispers of courage. It calls you higher, not lower. It stretches you. It won't always feel comfortable, but that's how you know it's real. Worry keeps you looking at the ground, at what's lacking, what's broken, what might not work. But your calling tells you to look up, toward what's possible, what's within you, what's next. You can't chase purpose and panic at the same time. You have to choose where your eyes go, because where your focus goes, your life follows. You want to elevate, then you have to train your mindset to rise above the noise. That means silencing the inner critic. That means refusing to let temporary stress decide your permanent direction. That means remembering who you are and what you were born to do. Worry makes you reactive. Purpose makes you proactive, and that's the shift you need to make. When you look down, you see limitation. When you look up, you see vision. You begin to recognize that every delay, every setback, every closed door was never a sign to quit. It was preparation. Every storm you went through wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to shape you into someone strong enough to carry what's coming next. So lift your head. Adjust your focus. Stop giving fear the front seat. It's time to rise to the occasion. It's time to walk in what's yours. You want to level up. Then you've got to stop shrinking, stop second guessing, and stop staring at your worries like they own you. Start looking at your calling like it's waiting on you, because it is. Your fear ain't facts, it's just feelings. Don't build your future on temporary emotions. Fear can feel overwhelming. It disguises itself as truth, convincing you that you're not ready, not good enough, or that you're bound to fail. But fear doesn't come from facts. It comes from feelings. It comes from uncertainty, from wounds you haven't healed, from doubts you've rehearsed too many times. And the danger lies not in feeling fear, but in treating it like it's the final word. If you start building your life around fear, hesitating on dreams, backing away from challenges, avoiding growth, you'll end up creating a future that's smaller than your potential. The mind is powerful, but it's also emotional. It reacts to stress, to pressure, to unknowns. That's normal. But your emotions aren't a blueprint for your destiny. Feelings come and go, but purpose stays. Truth stays. If you allow fear to shape your decisions, you're giving temporary emotions permanent power over your future, and that's a heavy price to pay. You weren't created to live a life dictated by fear. You were created to live with intention, with courage, with vision. Yes, fear will speak, but that doesn't mean it deserves a seat at your decision-making table. Think about how many times you've been scared and did it anyway, and things worked out better than you imagined. Fear isn't a signal to stop. It's a reminder that you're on the edge of growth, that something bigger is asking for your courage. Building your future on fear is like building a house on sand. It might look okay for a moment, but the first storm will shake it to the ground. But if you build it on discipline, on faith, on action, things that don't shift with your feelings, you'll create something solid, something lasting, something that doesn't fall apart every time discomfort shows up. You can feel fear and still move forward. In fact, the people you admire, the leaders, the creators, the doers, they all feel fear too. They've just learned how to stop letting it be the boss. They've learned to separate the voice of fear from the voice of reason. And they choose to move with reason, not with reaction. Fear is loud, but truth is steady. Fear yells in moments of pressure, but your purpose whispers through it all. The more you ground yourself in who you are, in what you're here to do, the less influence fear has over your path. You start to see it for what it is. Just a feeling, not a fact. Just a storm passing by, not a permanent forecast. So the next time fear shows up, don't hand it the pen. Don't let it write the next chapter of your life. Feel it, acknowledge it, but keep moving, because your future deserves to be built on something deeper, something stronger, on vision, not emotion, on truth, not fear, on purpose, not panic. You don't need to know the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Faith is the key to the door fear tries to lock. So many dreams die not because people aren't capable, but because they're waiting for clarity before they move. They're waiting to see the entire path, every turn, every outcome, every guarantee. But life doesn't work like that. Growth doesn't work like that. If you wait until everything makes perfect sense, you'll wait forever. The truth is, you don't need the whole picture to move, you just need faith. You need enough trust to take that first step even when the rest of the staircase is hidden in the dark. Fear thrives in the unknown. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if this doesn't work? And all those questions are designed to keep you stuck. But faith asks a different question. What if this is the beginning of something bigger? What if this step changes everything? That's the power of perspective. Fear shows you the lock. Faith gives you the key. You see, fear will never tell you the truth. It will exaggerate the risk, minimize your potential, and highlight every obstacle. But faith reminds you who you are. It reminds you who God is. It tells you that even if you don't know the whole plan, you're still in good hands. That every step you take in belief opens a new door you didn't even know existed. It's not about being fearless. It's about walking scared if you have to, but walking anyway. The greatest breakthroughs don't happen when everything is clear. They happen when you choose to act while things are still unclear. That's where transformation lives. That's where destiny meets obedience. You can't just sit on the sidelines of your own life waiting for a green light. Sometimes you have to move, and the light turns green because you did. Sometimes the doors open after you knock, not before, and no, you don't have to be perfect to begin. You don't have to have it all figured out. All you need is enough faith to silence the fear long enough to try, to take one bold step, to believe that the vision inside you isn't random, it's divine, planted by something greater than you, sustained by something bigger than fear. Your breakthrough, your next level, your future. It all starts with a decision, not a guarantee, not a road map. Just a decision to say, I'm moving forward, because the staircase doesn't reveal itself to those who sit still. It shows itself to those who walk by faith. So trust the process, trust your preparation, trust your potential. You don't have to see the whole way. Just take the first step, that's the key. That's how you unlock the next chapter fear tried to keep closed. Stop rehearsing failure in your mind. Start visualizing the win. Speak it, walk it, own it. Your mind is a powerful tool. What you feed it, it multiplies. But too often, people unconsciously rehearse failure. They replay worst case scenarios, imagine everything going wrong, and prepare for disappointment before they even begin. That inner dialogue becomes a pattern, and that pattern becomes a prison. It's not the failure that's stopping them. It's the fear of it. And that fear gets stronger every time you allow your mind to run wild with doubt. But what if you flipped that? What if instead of expecting defeat, you trained yourself to expect victory? What if you started visualizing the win, how it feels, how it looks, what it sounds like? Because the truth is, success begins in the mind long before it ever shows up in real life. The body follows where the mind leads. And if your mind is focused on setbacks, your actions will reflect hesitation. But when your mind is focused on success, your actions become bold, confident, and intentional. You weren't meant to live stuck in self-doubt. You weren't built to rehearse failure over and over like it's your destiny. You were created to create, to imagine, to speak life, to build something meaningful. And that starts with how you talk to yourself. Your words shape your world, so speak what you want to see, not just in public but in private. Speak it when nobody's clapping. Speak it when the results aren't here yet. That's when it matters most. Start walking like it's already yours. Move like you belong in the room. Think like someone who wins, who conquers, who builds. Own your space, own your energy. You don't have to fake it, but you do have to believe it. Because the truth is, every win starts with belief. Every victory starts with mindset. You can't own what you keep doubting. You can't become what you keep fearing. And you can't rise if all you're doing is mentally rehearsing how you'll fall. It's time to stop letting the past write your future. Stop letting fear rehearse your downfall and start letting faith rehearse your rise. Close your eyes and see the win. Feel the win. Speak the win. Then take steps aligned with it. Do the work, make the moves, stand in your power even if your hands are shaking. The world doesn't need another voice of doubt. You already have that in your head sometimes. What you need is a voice of belief, a voice that says, why not me? A voice that says, I've got what it takes. Because the moment you shift your focus, your momentum shifts too. Stop giving fear the microphone. Give it to purpose, to boldness, to belief. Stop rehearsing failure in your mind and start visualizing the win. Speak it, walk it, own it, because it's already yours. You just have to claim it. Your future is bigger than your fear. So act like it, walk like it, live like it. Fear is loud, but it's not final. It may shout in your mind, question your worth, and whisper every worst case scenario you can imagine, but it doesn't define you. What defines you is what you choose to believe and how you choose to move. And if your future is truly as powerful as you say it is, then it's time to start living like it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, most people let fear lead. They let fear talk them out of progress, out of purpose, out of promotion. They wait for fear to leave before they take a step, but fear isn't leaving. It's waiting for you to rise above it. You don't kill fear by being passive. You kill it by moving in the opposite direction. You prove fear wrong by taking action in the middle of the doubt. There's something in you that's greater than anything trying to stop you. There's a reason the dream won't leave you alone. There's a reason your spirit feels restless every time you shrink. That's because your future is calling you, and it's calling you louder than fear, if you're willing to listen. It's time to stop playing small to make fear comfortable. Fear doesn't pay the price for your missed potential. You do. You've got to act like your future is already on the way. Move like someone who knows what they carry. You don't need every answer. You just need a reason and the decision to stop letting fear steal your momentum. That version of you who's healed, focused, confident, living fully in purpose. That version is not imaginary. It's real, and the only thing separating you from it is action. Don't let fear steal another year of your life. Don't let it delay the book, the business, the relationship, the breakthrough. You have the vision for a reason. God didn't put it in you just for decoration. He put it in you for activation, but it's on you to act on it, to believe in it, to walk toward it even if your knees shake. Especially then. This life is too short to let fear run your schedule. Too short to sit on the sidelines of your own potential. The world needs what you carry, and your future self is counting on you to show up. Not halfway, not when it's easy, but now, fully, boldly, relentlessly. Your fear may speak, but your future shouts. Start acting like the person you're becoming. Walk like the road is already being cleared. Live like the promise is already unfolding. You were not born to bow down to fear. You were born to rise. Your future is bigger than your fear. So act like it, walk like it, live like it, because it's waiting. And so is the world.